You tell yourself you'll start in 5 minutes. Then you check your phone. Then 5 minutes becomes an hour. Then the hour becomes the whole day. And by night, you're lying there, staring at the ceiling, hating yourself for something you didn't even do. If this feels familiar, you're not lazy. You're not broken. You're carrying something much heavier than people realize. Stay with me because by the end of this, you'll understand exactly why your mind keeps running from the very things you care about most. Let's talk about Eli. Eli has a deadline in 3 days. He knows exactly what he needs to do. He even wants to do it. But every time he opens his laptop, something strange happens. His chest tightens. His mind goes blank. Suddenly he's cleaning his room, reorganizing his closet, scrolling through videos about people who have their life together. He isn't avoiding the work. He's avoiding a feeling. And that feeling has a name. Fear of not being good enough. Here's the truth nobody tells you about procrastination. It was never about time management. It's about emotion management. Your brain isn't lazy. Your brain is protecting you. Every time you sit down to do something meaningful, your mind quietly asks a dangerous question. What if I try my best and it still isn't enough? And to avoid that pain, your brain does something clever. It distracts you. Because as long as you don't try, you can't fail. As long as you delay, you're still safe. Procrastination isn't the problem. It's the shield. Pause for a second. Think about the last thing you kept putting off. Was it really about the task? Or was it about what finishing it would say about you? Let that sink in. Because for a lot of us, procrastination isn't about the essay, the project, the message we haven't sent. It's about identity. If I never finish it, I never have to find out if I'm not talented enough. If I never send it, I never have to face rejection. If I never try fully, I always have an excuse ready. It sounds strange, but delaying pain feels safer than facing disappointment. Even when that delay quietly destroys our confidence over time. Think about Daniel. Every night he promises himself tomorrow will be different. Tomorrow he'll wake up early. Tomorrow he'll finally start the business he's been dreaming about. But tomorrow comes. And the fear comes with it. So he waits again. Not because he doesn't want it, but because wanting something this much is terrifying. Because the moment you truly try, you can no longer protect yourself with maybe. You have to face reality. And reality can hurt. Now here's where it gets deeper. Many people who procrastinate aren't unmotivated. They're overwhelmed by their own high standards. Perfectionism doesn't always look like control. Sometimes it looks like paralysis. You want to do it so perfectly that you end up doing nothing at all. Because in your mind, if it's not perfect, it's worthless. And that pressure becomes so heavy that your brain shuts down before you even begin. This is why some of the most capable, intelligent, deeply caring people struggle the most with procrastination. Not because they don't care, but because they care too much. Pause again. Ask yourself honestly, are you avoiding failure? Or are you avoiding the fear of being seen? Being seen trying. Being seen not knowing everything. Being seen human. There's a quiet shame that builds after each delay. You start telling yourself a story. I'm not disciplined enough. I'm not consistent enough. I always let myself down. And that story becomes a loop. The more you procrastinate, the more shame you feel. The more shame you feel, the harder it becomes to start. It's not a lack of willpower. It's an emotional trap disguised as laziness. But here's the twist. The thing you've been calling weakness might actually be sensitivity. People who overthink, who procrastinate, who freeze before big moments, are often the same people who feel everything a little too deeply. They care about outcomes. They care about how they're perceived. They care about doing things right. That sensitivity isn't your flaw. It's proof that you actually give a damn. The problem was never that you feel too much. It's that no one taught you how to sit with that fear instead of running from it. So what changes everything? Not motivation. Not discipline. Self-compassion. The moment you stop punishing yourself for delaying and start understanding why you delay, something shifts. You stop fighting yourself. And you start working with yourself. Because the goal was never to eliminate fear before starting. The goal is to start even while the fear is still there. Small steps. Not perfect ones. Because progress doesn't require confidence. It only requires movement. If you've been procrastinating on something important, this isn't a sign that you're incapable. It's a sign that something inside you is scared of losing, scared of failing, scared of not being enough. But you are allowed to try imperfectly. You are allowed to begin messy. You are allowed to disappoint yourself sometimes and still keep going. Because the people who eventually succeed aren't the ones who never feared failure. They're the ones who moved forward anyway. So tonight, or tomorrow morning, when you feel that familiar urge to delay again, pause. Ask yourself gently, what am I really afraid of? And then take one small step. Not for productivity, for peace. Because healing this pattern isn't about becoming someone who never procrastinates. It's about becoming someone who understands themselves enough to keep going anyway.